Hi everybody, Paula here. I want to give you some tips today about making your team member meetings nice and easy. So I speak to lots of entrepreneurs, lots of people who are growing businesses, and one of the things that they hate is having meetings with team members, having meetings with their team. But I love them and I don't mind them and I don't find them difficult. So I want to share with you why. I've got some really simple tips as to how you can make preparation really easy, the process really easy, and make the conversation feel really natural and flow and actually make them something that you're going to start looking forward to. The first tip that I'm going to suggest is to get a people notebook. So it doesn't need to be fancy. I've just got this tiny little notebook, and what I've actually done is put little manual tabs up the top. So in my case, these tabs for each of the key people that I meet with regularly in my business. So in my case, I meet with these people weekly. Now that's appropriate for my business, but for your business, maybe monthly is enough, or maybe it's fortnightly. So these are the key people that I need to liaise with and to make sure that they're on track and to make sure that I'm communicating to them what I want them doing and where the business is going, where we need to check in, correct, make sure there's not any assumptions, set new goals, etc. So you might have a more fancy version of this notebook, it doesn't matter, but I've gone really old school notebook and literally just got some little post-it notes and stuck them at the top for each of the people's names. Now, throughout the week, when it comes to preparing for the meeting, what I do is I prepare as I go. So every time I notice something that the person's doing well, I write it in the notebook. Every time that I think, oh, I need to talk to that person about them doing this differently or better, I write it in the notebook. So when it comes to actually the meeting, there isn't much work to do because I've actually got it all written down. So the second little tip is to always have a date on the little page and take some notes in the meeting. Just write loads of notes. Have these headings. What's working well? What can be improved? They're the two key headings that you will have been noting down throughout the week or the month before you meet with them. And then have a chat to the person about them and just say, hey, these are some of the things I want to talk to you about, and roll through them. The third heading I want you to do is to have written down goals or new things to do, whatever feels right for you. And that's where you're going to write down things that you want them to be doing differently, things, new responsibilities you want them to be taking on, or something new that you want them to focus on. The fourth heading that I want you to have is anything that you agree or action items. So that's where you're going to note down at the end, you're going to do this, I'm going to do this, we're going to get you training on this, etc. So that then when you come to meet with them next time, you're able to also refer to, well, what did we agree last time? So you might have one page per meeting, or perhaps if it's a long or a detailed meeting, you might have a few pages. But you want to keep it really, really simple. Let's go through those headings again. What's working well? What needs to be improved? What goals or new things do I want you to do? And what have we agreed in our meeting? And the really great thing about this is if this is a little structure that you stick to, then it'll become familiar and known to the other person. So there go any of the surprises or concerns about having a meeting. And better still, you can ask the other person, the person you're meeting with, to start to come prepared thinking in the same way. Well, what have I been doing well? What could I be doing better? What sort of things do I want to focus on, etc. So this is a little structure, a little informal structure that you can put in place for any of your individual meetings. Maybe you're having the weekly, maybe you're having them monthly. And so you'll find that what happens, it's a natural, open conversation about things that need to be improved, always giving positive feedback about things that are happening that are good, and also making sure that we're moving people in the direction that we want them to, which is ultimately where we want our business to be going. So two things we've talked about so far: have a really simple little notebook, have some headings, and make notes in between meetings about the things that you want to talk about. Now, if you're both doing that, if you're both making notes in between the meetings, and the really great thing is that you're going to stop disturbing each other with lots of emails and little bits of thoughts in between the meetings. So you sort of really funnel the quality information into the meetings and you minimize the disruptions. So the other thing I wanted to talk to you about is that when I have a new person start and I create a new little tab for them, on the front page or the first page in that tab, what I do is I write down some of the highlights about the skills or experience that they're bringing in and some of the things that they need to learn. So it's a really easy reference in the meeting if I need to flick back, or if just when I'm thinking about their performance in general. I might write down even a little bit about them. Okay, she's got a family, These are things that she's good at. She's got experience on Xero. I need to teach her how to do X, Y, and Z. These are the sorts of things or the highlights that came out of the interview. So just summarize them and jot them down on some points on that front tab. Nice and easy to flick back to. So that's all, guys. That's the tips. Get a notebook. Keep those headings. What's working well? What needs to be improved? What goals or things do I want you to do that are new? And what have we agreed in the meeting? You're going to make notes as you go in between the meetings, and you're going to have some sort of little summary at the beginning or the first tab, so that you can really quickly go, well, what's the experience? Oh, that's right, he or she has had experience with WordPress, or they needed to learn Xero, for example, the accounting system, whatever it might be. So I hope that's been really helpful. Talk to you soon.